I'm going to share with you what I think about this AI tracking webcam. Now, this camera was sent over for review on Amazon, but I thought it was worthy enough to create a YouTube video about it because I think it is something that you all might really like on this channel because we talk a lot about PTZ cameras. Now, let's get through some of the basics of what the camera is, and then I'll show you what it looks like and then some of the use cases for it. Now, this particular webcam is just that. It is a 1080p 30 frames per second webcam, and you can't change it. So if you want to do 720, you're not going to be able to do it, and it's not a 4K webcam, and you can't make the adjustments to 60 frames per second if you want to do something with high and fast motion like sports videography. This is definitely a webcam, so that's how I would treat this. Now, if you're doing a talking head video like myself or placing this in a conference room, it is really nice because it's simple to use. All you need to do is plug in the DC power connection and the USB-C connection, and then plug that directly into your computer via USB. So this does not have an HDMI input that you would use if you were going to use a video switcher device. Now, if you do want to use this in a video switcher production environment like I do, where I have multiple cameras, there is a way to convert your USB over to HDMI, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. Now, another thing about this particular webcam is it does come with a remote, and this remote does require two AAA batteries, and I will say that this remote is very easy to use. 2 sets of zoom speeds, and you can also set up to 4 presets. Now, you can zoom in 5 times, which is not a lot, so definitely want to make sure that you use this in close proximity to your subjects. In order to use the AI tracking, one of the first things I was trying to figure out is there's no button that says AI tracking. All you simply have to do is hold the home button down for 3 seconds. It will enable the AI tracking mode, and then it will frame up the shot and follow you appropriately. Now, you don't want to be running out of the frame, otherwise it won't find you. But if you are doing a walking and talking type of lecture, or maybe you're just moving around the home office and doing your Amazon live streams like I do, it's very easy for the camera to keep up with you and frame the shots pretty good for AI technology. Now, this camera can be mounted in a couple different ways. Now, I have it mounted currently on a tripod because it does have a quarter thread adapter under the bottom, so I can easily mount this on any tripod. Now, another way that you can mount this camera is by simply putting it on a flat surface. Now, it may not seem like the traditional mounting of a camera, but it does have these little rubber grips under the bottom so that the camera does not move. Literally, I put it on this desk and it will not shake. Now, this camera doesn't come with an included mounting bracket system like some of the PTZ optics types of cameras do, but if you do want to mount this on a mounting bracket, you can do that because this camera does have the inverted video feature. Now, the viewing range on top of the 5x zoom is pretty impressive for a webcam. You have 122 degrees of viewing angle, and this camera can rotate pretty significantly as well, 170 degrees turning, so almost a full 180. You can actually turn this camera and make sure that everyone is in frame. So if you have this in the back of a room on a flat wall, you can definitely go all the way left and all the way right and see everything in the video. Now, the build quality of this webcam is just that. It's a webcam, so you definitely don't want to drop this camera. It's not as sturdy, it's not as built like some of the other cameras. Now, I actually had one of my AV cans PTZ cameras fall about 20 feet off a wall, and it did not break it at all. This webcam, I don't think could last because it is made of plastic, so definitely make sure that you do mount this securely and don't drop it. Now, this webcam PTZ camera doesn't have everything I would traditionally need in a PTZ camera. There is no serial connection port where you can easily plug in a joystick controller and control it, but you do have an Ethernet port, and there are some ways that you can use the IP base to try to get it to work. But for the most part, you would just use your remote control that comes included to control it. This would not be an option for you if you're looking to have multiple cameras like this in your system, in your overall infrastructure, because it is USB based. So plugging multiple USB ports into your computer, you're going to eventually run into issues, and this is not the use case for that. So now let's talk about image quality, because that's going to be the all important one. Now, because this is a webcam, because this is PTZ based camera, they don't have the best image quality as compared to some of the other cameras. So for example, right now, you're looking at me on a 4K mirrorless camera, that one right here. And then if I switch over here, you're looking at me in the 1080p resolution of the exact same cam. Now we're gonna switch over to look at the PTZ camera so that you can compare all three of them side by side. So now let's look at the image quality and some of the settings with the remote on this webcam. We're looking at the quality of this PTZ camera. So right now you're looking at the camera through 1080p, 30 frames per second. It doesn't look as smooth. So when I move my hands around, it doesn't look as smooth as a camcorder. You can flip your image, which is what the first button here does. So if I hit the button, I actually see that my image gets flipped around. This third button, I believe, allows the camera to rotate, rotating and autofocus. Next button beside it, buttons flips us upside down. So if we want to invert our camera and hang it upside down, we can invert it with that button. We do have 4 presets, 1, 2, 3, and 4 that go around the dial. And then in the middle, we have the home button. So if we move the camera off axis, if we hit home, it will return us to our default home setting. We do have 2 buttons here on the left, and these are for your presets. So once I actually select where I want this first angle to be, so let's zoom over, hit the preset button first, then hold number 1 down, and it says preset saved. So I'll hit home, it'll come back to me here at the home. Now we'll hit our first preset, and it will take us over to our pillow. The best part of this is the AI tracking. In order to enable the tracking, we need to hold down the home button for 3 seconds. So now it should be fine. Actually sit down. Then it will track me all the way back to the position that I wanted to track me at. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a USB-based webcam, so that means it's easy plug and play to any computer. So if you want to do Zoom or any live streaming platform, you can easily select this PTZ camera and it will show up in that software. But if you have a video switcher like I do and you have multiple cameras, you may want to actually use this as part of that production. Now, in order to convert USB over to HDMI to use into my ATEM switcher, I do have an OBS Bot UVC to HDMI adapter. Now, this is a very convenient device. However, if you consider the price of this camera plus the price of the adapter itself to make it work in an ATEM video switcher, you may as well just go out and get a true PTZ camera because you'll get better quality image, you'll get a better zoom rate, you'll just get a better overall camera in general. Now, because this is a webcam, that means it's easy to use and bring into your live stream and video production. So I'm going to show you how easy it is by using a software called be.live. Now that we're inside of the be.live software, we can connect our camera. Now, I'm a huge fan of be.live because they're a live streaming platform that is definitely focused on live shopping. So we're going to connect our camera by simply selecting the connect camera option. It's defaulting to my webcam that's built into my laptop. That's not the camera we're going to use. So I'm going to select the little gear icon, and then from the drop down menu, I'm going to select on our new AI tracking camera. It finds my camera, and then I'm also going to select the 1080p. Once we've done that, we can select show on screen, and boom, we are live on the screen using our brand new camera. So it's super easy to use this platform, and it's super easy to connect this new webcam to it. Now, overall, I am pretty pleased with this camera, being that it's considered a webcam PTZ camera. With the AI tracking functionality, the easy to use remote, and it's USB connected directly to my computer, it makes it easy to use. No, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, maybe like an HDMI port or the ability to plug in my serial joystick controller to manually control the camera. I do have to use the actual included remote, but for an entry-level webcam, I think this would be okay if you're just getting started, and really helps you get your feet wet if this is your first time using a PTZ camera. Now, the AI tracking really is what sets it apart from other webcams. So I'll link to this camera along with the other things that I talked about in this video if you want to check them out. Thanks for watching on this channel. Make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.